Is one of them. He seemed to save his best right here on this court against the best.
Gators playing shorthanded for the third straight game. It was Walter Clayton and then Elijah Martin, and now Martin missing another game tonight with a hit pointer. Denzel Aberdeen gets his third consecutive start. He's been great with the two guards out. Clayton played all 40 minutes on Saturday, follows his own miss. Gators, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country.
Well, you're right, Tom. That was a huge concern for Mississippi State. Not necessarily the first shot defense, but could you finish the possession? 0 for 1 so far.
Melendez with the deflection. 11 seconds left on the shot clock. It was a 90-81 win for Florida on the road at Auburn. They led at one point by 21. They became just the sixth team to beat two different #1 teams in the same season. Oh no, Condon goes down with an ankle injury. Alex Condon, the sophomore out of Perth, Australia, is a key part of this Florida team. Immediately, athletic trainer John Michelini out to check on him.
Absolutely hate to see that. Just a bad landing all around. Goodness gracious, 6'11", 230. Those big fellas with the ankle sprains just seem a lot tougher than when the guards go down.
This is eerily reminiscent, although you certainly hope it's not nearly as severe as the injury to Micah Hanlogton. Hanlogton went down in the SEC Tournament Championship game. There's Hanlogton in the hoodie with his back to the court. They thought they were going to get him back at some point earlier this season. As they continue to tend to Alex Condon, we step away for a timeout here in Starkville. Florida sophomore Alex Condon being helped off the floor and back to the Gators locker room immediately with no weight being put on the right foot and the right ankle.
I can't overstate, Tom, how important he has been to the balanced attack of this Florida team. Offensively, they've run so many things through him. Todd Golden right now getting into it with the officials upset about that last play.
I don't know what was said to Todd Golden, but Jeff Hartness is going to run interference here. But you certainly understand why he would be frustrated given the scenario of losing one of his key players. And now he's trying to get his bench fired up and hoping some of that fire carries over. They do have a great sixth man in Thomas Houck, who enters immediately. Walter Clayton Jr. fires in a three.
And Todd Golden lets the fans know about it as well. I mean, he is fired up as I've ever seen him, and he right now is telling his team it's us against the world.
Here's a look at the starters for Mississippi State. 17-6 on the season, 5-5 in league play. Coming off of a 1-point win at Georgia, and a beautiful move down the lane on the conversion. Michael Nwoko with his first bucket.
Well, just a great job with a little fake handoff here. Nwoko, that's the attention that Josh Hubbard brings. They know, Mississippi State does, that Florida is going to pay so much attention to Hubbard. Two guys go with 12 and leads to an easy drive. And if you're going to foul him hard. Mississippi State struggles from the line. You got to make them earn it.
Just 57% from Nwoko, and they nearly cost him a game against Georgia, where Nwoko scored the first 9 points of the game. So the storyline for this one going forward for the Gators, can they win on the road shorthanded with the loss of Alex Condon in the first 30 seconds to an ankle injury? Already without Elijah Martin for this game due to the hit pointer. Here's Houck. He'll tee one up and drills it.
And they want to continue to see that from their bigs. Pick and pop. Not shooting a great percentage, but they must be a threat out there to ease things up on the guards.
Answer from the corner, off the back rim. Claudell Harris. This is a state team, both individually and as a group, not shooting the ball well recently, especially from behind the arc. Harris just 2 for his last 12 from deep. Chinyalu trying to work a give and go. Here's Clayton. Good ball movement. Denzel Aberdeen to the paint. Clayton left wide open. Doesn't miss many open ones. He's 6th in the league in percentage from deep. Here's the lob. Too strong. Melendez threw it off the backboard. Walter Clayton Jr. hangs, and no whistle, coming back the other way with contact in front of the rim. And then Clayton with the steal. He has been a superstar for Florida this season. 6 25-point games. He now has 44 consecutive games with a 3. That is a school record. Nice slice by Houck.
He is playing so good for the Florida Gators. The unsung hero at Auburn made some incredible plays. Those offensive rebounds that became daggers on the road. And the challenge from Todd Golden to number 10 has been, can you keep it up and be consistent? So far, he is in this one.
Here's Hubbard, gets by Houck, gets rejected. Big time block by Chinyalu.
Houck, a sophomore, averages 8.6 board, but impacts the game so well. Stretches the floor, pick and pop. That's the catch and stick mentality you want from your guards. And then look at the screen down below. Just seals his man, does Chinyalu, to give that open path for Houck.
A couple of subs in for Mississippi State, including former Gator Riley Kugel. He enters along with Keyshawn Murphy. Mississippi State has really turned up its offensive efficiency this year under Chris Jans. They're now 20th in the country, according to Ken Palm, in efficiency, long known as a defense-first coach. He was telling us at shoot-around today, I learned in this league I'm going to have to make some sacrifices and be a more offensive team. Here's Chinyalu. It takes a while to adapt to that. Early 7-point lead for the Gators. Josh Hubbard, lob, and a finish. Keyshawn Murphy.
Terrific look by Hubbard. Florida's going to run him off the three-point line, make him play inside the arc. Great pass in traffic by Hubbard.
Chinyalu loses it. Clayton there to bail him out. Shot clock at 10. It's a Florida team that is really good on the run. Houck with the travel and the turnover. They may be limited on whether or not they can push the ball tonight. Chris Jans fired up early. Florida up by 5. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
Florida does miss. Guess what? They're one of the top teams in the country at getting the offensive rebounds thanks to Alex Condon. He gets 3 of those a game. And so Houck and others are going to have to step up. Sam Alexis, the reserve center in the game right now, 4 and blue.
Condon had a double-double in the win against #1 Auburn. Here's Hubbard. Follow jam by Matthews.
Good job by Mississippi State. They got Houck to go out to contest the shooter. That makes them much thinner on the defensive glass.
How is Florida's offense executed here early?
They've gotten everything they've wanted. And other than that possession, I think 6 of the 7 shots they've taken have been clean looks. And so here's going to be the follow-up dunk. So watch the big man. He's got to come out and contest this. So that takes him away from the paint, and that's easy money for Cam Matthews.
Potential of this team. He knows how good they could be and where they could end up. They are certainly Final Four, if not national championship capable.
They are, and they're top 10 in the country in both offense and defensive efficiency because you see the multiple weapons as Sam Alexis shows you right there. And I think he's got a little more fuel in him as well. That Alex Condon play, he's trying to rally the troops. And I think he felt like that Melendez may have pulled Condon down a little bit towards the end. The officials didn't review that or make any sort of call.
2 buckets for Keyshawn Murphy. Here's Walter Clayton Jr. guarded by Hubbard. He finds Houck. Houck with the kick out. Before that, a whistle and a foul on Cameron Matthews. Chris Jans is known for being a tough-nosed defense-first coach. Third season in state, back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournament, and 8 wins against ranked opponents here.
Tom, I think you could give Chris Jans any roster in the country, and as soon as he became his team, everybody in the country better. You better watch out for that.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, all he does is win.
5 seasons at New Mexico State. Executed a 12-5 upset of UConn in the tournament while he was there. Here's Cougar. Room for Matthews to operate. Out to Jones. Cougar with the putback, and the former Gator rolls it home. Clayton with a size advantage at 6'3", working against the 5'11" Hubbard. First on Hubbard. Already 2 wins against number 1 for Florida this season. Auburn's still number 1 in the AP poll. Bama number 1 in the coaches poll. It'll be a 1-2 matchup, 4 o'clock on Saturday from Coleman Coliseum. You think that ticket's going to be tough?
That is unbelievable. 2 coaches with Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates, some of the best in the business with their teams playing phenomenal.
Will Richards splashes one down from deep. 4-point Florida lead.
Well, that's just an area Mississippi State has really struggled. They're going to try to, they will count that basket interference. But it's bigger than just the 3 for Will Richard. This is a issue for Mississippi State. In conference play, they are 13th in the league at shooting the 3 and 15th in the league at defending it. They are getting beat in that category on a consistent basis. They've got to find a way to make a few 0 for 4 so far in this game and not put so much pressure on their 2-point offense.
Gators have made 4 of their last 5. Clayton with a fadeaway off the turnaround. He's got 5.
There's not a smoother player in the country. He makes it look so easy.
Kugel trying to make something happen, nearly turned it over. Riley Kugel, a really interesting career at Florida. Came out of the gate really hot. Was on the SEC freshman team. Averaged 12.5 points a game in conference play. That was the most since Bradley Beal in 2012. And last year, preseason first team all-conference. But he had a shooting slump in game number 12 of the season after starting the first 11. He went 0 for 15 from deep and 7 for 33 from the floor. And he just never found consistency.
The end of that freshman year in particular, the last 6 weeks or so, is when expectations got really high for Cougar.
Murphy steps through. Houck fights for the rebound.
He doesn't take a possession off, does he?
Florida 7 for 11 to start this game. Dump inside and a paint touch. Alexis has nowhere to go with it. Clayton got his man in the air, finds Houck. I think Florida has slowed things down tonight with the absence of 2 starters, Elijah Martin and Alex Condon, from a pace standpoint. They certainly run more at home than they do on the road. Here's Kugel. And another battle from Houck. Urban Klavzar was fantastic in his first extended action against Auburn. Delcon Warren the rebound. Here's Kugel. Whoa! Crashing down the lane for the jam is Michael Nwoko.
Poor transition defense. And Clayton can make that shot from deep, but his teammates weren't expecting it. Therefore, they were late getting back.
Clayton behind the back, shook his man. They got a mismatch. Houck didn't see it. Klavchar fouled coming around the screen. That'll go against Kugel.
Well, Clayton pulls from deep, and that catches his teammates off guard, and they are late getting back. Way to run the floor if you're Mississippi State. You got to get those easy 2s. They do it there.
While in the top 2 of the AP poll, including a game earlier this season against Purdue. And a Texas team desperate to get back on the right side of the ledger after back-to-back losses at home to Arkansas and on the road to Vandy.
That's what you got to love about this league, is if you've lost a couple in a row, there's another opportunity coming right down the road.
Denzel Aberdeen fires from deep. And crashing for the rebound will turn into a foul on Sam Alexis going over the back.
That's certainly the right call and an easy one, but I do think that's one that the officials must continue to monitor, especially in the SEC, as it is a battle when that thing goes off the glass. And it's so difficult to decipher between physical play and a push in the back. And Chris Jans told his team, do not just stand around looking for the whistle. You're going to have to earn it and keep these guys off the glass.
Todd Golden's team 4th in the country in offensive rebound percentage. 2nd in the SEC behind Texas A&M. They haul down 40% of their misses. And a whistle away from the ball. And to go against Glavčar. What about Glavčar, sophomore from Slovenia, played at Real Madrid before coming to Gainesville. Really shot the ball well in the win on the road against Auburn. Matthews all alone, too easy. He's already halfway to his season average and not yet a quarter of the way through the game. They're slacking off Alexis.
This is not the front court lineup Todd Golden typically wants to have. No Condon, of course, and Houck must get some rest. Usually one of those two is always out there.
Glavčar fires it off the front of the rim, rebounded by Matthews. He had 3 threes in the win against Auburn. Harris from the corner skips off. His struggles continue. 2 for 13 from deep over the last 2.5 games.
Yeah, you can't get a better look than that. Great ball movement. Hunt your 3 in transition. Corner 3. Just got to knock one down.
Alexis dragged his pivot foot. And a Florida turnover, 3rd of the game for the Gators.
Take a look at that inbounds pass. It's great if you're Chris Jans. Nice fake there by Matthews. Clayton gets caught behind and then gets off balance. Matthews just comes right back to the ball.
14 of State's 17 points have come in the paint. And now Walter Clayton Jr. gets a breather. Houck back on the floor, along with Chinyelu. You really, if you're Todd Golden now, you really have to manage rotations to make sure you have as many of your frontline players out there at the same time.
Yeah, and this is a unique team because they always play with 2 bigs. So I'll be curious if at some point in this game, does he go 4 guards and 1 big, given the lack of depth.
Matthews blows it at the rim. The jump ball will keep it this way. This is game number 24 for Florida. They had the same starting 5 for the first 22 games of the season. Pardon me, the first 21. So now, all of a sudden, they've been forced to adapt due to injuries the last couple of games. Everyone knows this is a very physical league. Does the physical play of the league lead to more injuries?
It could be a cumulative effect. I think the minutes and night in, night out as Todd Golden continues to make his case.
Pat Adams gives him a bench warning.
I got one of those once.
Yeah, but you were coaching 6th grade.
He told me I had to be confined to my seat.
And
I said you should have been confined to the parking lot. I didn't get a second warning.
A foul on the drive. Claudell Harris Jr. ahead of the free throw line. State looking for the lead. Bulldogs have yet to lead in this one. We know what's at stake for Florida down the rest of the season. They're sitting right there as a predicted number 2 seed. They can certainly be a number 1 seed. Mississippi State trying to go above 500 in their quad 1 wins. Harris 75% from the free throw line. Tomorrow night, ESPN NBA doubleheader starts at 7 Eastern in Boston as Jason Tatum and the Celtics welcome Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and the Spurs, wrapping up a 6-game roadie. And a pair of new-look teams, the Warriors led by Steph and Jimmy Butler, will be in Dallas to take on Kyrie and the Mavs. Anthony Davis just acquired us out. NBA countdown tips it all off at 6:30 Eastern. First lead of the game for Mississippi State coming from the free throw line, and that might be a surprise for some. Bad as their struggles have been from the stretch.
Well, I think they've gotten in a great rhythm defensively over the last 5-6 minutes.
Klobuchar. Cut off by Melendez. Here's Aberdeen with the hammer into the corner. And pulled down by Michael Nwoko. State has played really well. They haven't gotten much from Josh Hubbard so far. He's their leading scorer in the season, 7th best in the league, nearly 18 a game.
I like how they use him, though, as a screener. Even when he's missing shots, he's opened up offensive rebound opportunities. You've got to keep him involved one way or another.
And 4 eyes on him that time. Shot clock at 6. Harris gives it up. Nwoko with 2. Turnaround, fade. And Richard the rebound. Slapped away and a near steal. Richard got away with a push. And then he's fouled on the way in. And Claudell Harris Jr. pleading his case.
And he has a case. I mean, Richard didn't go after this loose ball. He just shoves Harris out of bounds. Watch what happens here. Says, you know what? Get out of here. And shoves him into the sidelines. And now he's going to get himself to the free throw line. Tough break for Mississippi State.
And now Matthews has drawn the attention of Pat Adams. And Pat Adams talking about it with Chris Jans. Klobuchar to the bench. This is tense here early on for a lot of different reasons.
And this is a big opportunity for Mississippi State. Chris Jans told his team before the game, do you deserve to be in the upper half of this league or not? Tonight is an opportunity to prove you are.
Gators have missed their last 5. Howe turns it over. Sloppy start for Florida without 2 key players tonight. Turnover number 4. Opportunity for Chris Jans, who has taken State to the tournament back-to-back years, and he's running hot tonight. Net of 30, 5-5 versus quad 1.
He's got a chance to be 1 of 4 in SEC history to take his team to 3 straight tourneys in their first 3 seasons, joining John Calipari at Kentucky, Pearl at Tennessee, and Tubby Smith at Kentucky.
Hubbard fouled on the drive on a Will Richard hold. I think the comp there is probably more Pearl than Calipari, based on what Pearl rebuilt immediately at Tennessee following the Donnie Tyndall 1-year experiment.
Well, and I do think Mississippi State, out of all those jobs, is the toughest to take over. And what Chris Jans has done, you can put him anywhere in the country. And like I said, he's going to win with whoever he's got.
They've lost 19 straight against top 3 opponents. That is an SEC record. Hubbard off the mark. The last time they beat a top 3 opponent came in their Final Four year of 1996. They beat Ray Allen and UConn. Final game for Ray Allen in a UConn unit. Been a minute, huh? Clayton turns around and fires, and he buries it.
He's just so smooth. And sometimes you think he's playing a little bit too cool because he lulls you to sleep some. But just because it doesn't look like he's playing with a sense of urgency doesn't mean he's not. And you cannot go to sleep on him.
There's points for Florida in 5:20. Murphy, work on Howe. Spins again. He loves that pivot. And he tried to fire it off of Richard, who simply caught it. Chance for Florida to run. Aberdeen for 3. Off the mark. This is a Florida team that gets 17 points a game via the fast break. That is 4th most in the country. And the rebound pulled down by Walter Clayton Jr.
Mississippi State is missing shots at the rim and wide open ones at the 3. They've just got to find a way to convert as their defense is keeping them in this one.
They're only 6 of 10 at the rim. Melendez dumps it off. Murphy. An extra pass. Ends up with Kugel. And now Jones wide open. Buries it.
And you got to keep taking them. Yeah, even if the percentages say you shouldn't, that has to be a factor if Mississippi State wants to go deep in the tournament.
Open is Aberdeen. And he answers. There is a foul as the shot was in the air. They will count the basket and then the foul on Chinyelu.
Well, here's the thing, Tom. That ball has to be out of his hands and in the air if they're going to count this. They'll review it because if this foul occurred while it was still in his hands, they're going to take it away. And I think it's clearly out. That bucket's going to count.
They might look at that for flagrant. Back in a moment. And one at Auburn. Meanwhile, Mississippi State is 9-6 in the first two quadrants. All 5 of their losses have come in quad 1 opportunities. So, big. Whoa, beautiful behind the back. Melendez hesitated. And then Howe came up with a block. It'll be Florida basketball.
I think Pat Adams said inadvertent whistle. Ball Florida. I don't even know that he's going to change the arrow. Look at this dime here. And Melendez.
This is an inadvertent whistle. It's going to be Blues ball.
Chris Jans is saying, hey, at least call it a jump ball so that the possession arrow switches.
Are you a fan of explaining it to the people in the building and offering explanation as we do now with the microphone courtside?
Yeah, I think they could add a little karaoke option to it as well, you know, depending on the tightness of the game.
You think Jans and Golden could do Islands in the Stream? Walter Clayton Jr. stepped back, Kugel all over him, former teammates for 2 years at Florida. Clayton got into him and late in the shot clock, but an offensive rebound, new life, and a beautiful block by Keyshawn Murphy.
This is really a smaller lineup of Mississippi State versus a bigger lineup for Florida.
Hubbard with the shake, and then it's blocked, and the whistle came after. And Sam Alexis was initially holding his left ankle.
It's a really nice block by Alexis. Must have got him with the body down low because Hubbard, again, they're keeping him off that three-point line. They're saying run him off, make him finish over contact. And that looked like might have been a pretty clean block. Let's see if he got him with the body here. 4 on blue. That looks like return to sender going the other way for Florida.
There aren't many holes in Josh Hubbard's offensive game, but at 5'11", he's not an elite finisher at the rim. He only shoots 52% at the rim.
It's an area he has improved on a little bit this season, and the more experience he has, the craftier he gets around that basket. I think another thing he could add too is just kind of a little bit of a floater in there when he gets into the paint.
And he doesn't shoot very many of those.
So here's this kind of elbow set that Florida likes to run with their bigs.
And then a reach in by Kugel. It is his second. Saturday, SEC Network, another quadruple header. It starts at 1 Eastern with Rick Barnes' Tennessee team playing host to rival Vanderbilt. Vols have won their last 3, including splitting with Florida. That was a Tennessee beatdown. Here's Aberdeen at the free throw line.
Tennessee able to get revenge on Florida. They'll look to do the same against Vanderbilt. The first huge win, statement wins by Coach Byington and the Commodores. They defeated Tennessee on the home court in Memorial.
Vandy gets Auburn at home tonight. Jalen Carey coming off an 18-point, 14-rebound performance.
Chris Jan said after that win at Georgia, he said that was kind of our old school Mississippi State win. A rock fight, found a way, didn't shoot it well, but defended our butts off. And that seems like what this first half has been about as well.
They only went 6 of 18 from the free throw line. It nearly cost them the game, but that defense forced a Georgia turnover on its last possession by Silas Demery and allowed State to escape in a battle of Bulldogs. State just won for its last 9 and now a turnover. Aberdeen finds Howe. Denzel Aberdeen working on Nwoko. Got his hands out of the way, nearly turned it over. Late in the shot clock, a whistle with 4.4 left.
That had turnover written all over it. They were caught on that sideline. Great help defense by State. But the effort of Walton Clayton just to come meet the pass, keep this ball alive. That looks like a turnover, but instead of giving up on the play, creates a loose ball situation. Most likely gets his team 2 points.
So Denzel Aberdeen to the free throw line. Third consecutive start. Filling in for injured backcourt mates. Last 2 games it's been Elijah Martin. Prior to that it was Walter Clayton. He turned his ankle in the Tennessee loss. Out of Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, Aberdeen knocks down the second. Mississippi State has certainly cooled off. Bulldogs hit 8 of their first 15 since then, 1 of 10.
Chris Jans wants paint touches. They track these, and last game they got 24 paint touches in the first half. They won 46 for the game. So they've got to continue to find a way to operate their offense inside.
Shot clock at 7. Harris got free to get a clean look.
That's an example of no paint touch bailed out by the offensive rebound.
Hubbard, no. Gators have gone on a 6-0 run. They try to get a look inside, and a whistle will put Sam Alexis at the free throw line. Alexis got the mismatch. It'll be Murphy charged with the foul.
Well, they got a good look on the mismatch down low, and they've gotten the high-low a couple times. Sam Alexis says, I got my man buried, throw it up top. Great execution by Florida.
So, 3:44 to play. Florida with a 4-point lead on Mississippi State. I know Sean missed out. He wanted to congratulate you on your big Super Bowl win for your Eagles on Sunday.
I'm very nervous right now. I'm a little starstruck. Darius Slay, big play Slay, is in the building.
Yep.
Bulldog alum.
There he is.
And, but I think I handled meeting him very well. I just said, big play Slay! and his boss, he was like, calm down, bro. Don't touch. No, I'm just kidding. He was great. Stood up, dapped me up, and I said, just like Tom Brady had a house on his wrist, so you got a house on your neck.
That's right. And he's got a full gas can. Alexis goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. What a career he's had already. It's a time Pro Bowler. Was recruited by Dan Mullen to play here at State. Made 6 picks over 2 seasons as a Bulldog. Harris gets cut off. Moloko spins to the baseline and now shares. And an assist at the rim to the 6'10 Keyshawn Murphy.
And again, a paint touch. 23 of their 24 points have come when a paint touch happens first. And that has been the recipe for Mississippi State scoring in this first half.
Alexis steps into a 3, rebounded by Claudell Harris Jr., Boston College transfer. Harris shakes the corner double, hit right by 3 Gators.
Got to get Hubbard the ball. Use him as a screener if you have to, but just got to get him a touch.
Bounce to Harris. Good rotation. It's his 3rd make in the last 3 games from deep. He'd really been struggling. 1,500-point scorer throughout his time between Charleston Southern, Boston College, and now Mississippi State. Push shot from Alexis is off. Murphy leading the break. Here's Harris for 3. And his mind made up. The putback is no good. And a step on the inline. Thought it was gonna give State the ball. Chris Jans is all the way out in the court, not happy with the decision from Jeff Hartness. I wonder if maybe the ball went out of bounds before it was touched by Alexis. And that's what Hartness saw. They just wanted to make sure State was the last to touch it off the shot.
See the ball rims out on an easy putback.
And they got Nwoko knocking it out of bounds.
That's the right call there. Mississippi State is playing hard. They're not playing great. And 6 of 11 on their layups. And some of those just bunnies right there at the rim. Here's
Clayton. Florida struggling from deep, 5 for 18.
I think the quality of threes Clayton has had has been high.
Harris brings it out again. Hubbard 1 for 5 and 0 for 3 from deep. He's their leading scorer, one of the best in the SEC. And he just turns and fires it up, and he gets the whistle on the Houck foul. And Hubbard going to the line for 3.
He draws so much attention, and he gets away without turning it over here, dribbling in traffic. But because of all that attention and guys swiping at the ball, they get a little bit too aggressive here, going point A to point B, and that's the right call as well. Hubbard to the line.
Hubbard's been in double figures 31 out of the last 32 games. He's making his 38th consecutive start tonight. Last year against Florida went for 26. He was a scoring revelation last season for Chris Jans, and he was used off the bench first 2/3 of the season. What a weapon to bring in.
He's got that killer instinct and an it factor that Chris Jans loves to have in the backcourt.
Misses 2 previous free throws. Now he knocks all 3 down, adding to an 8-0 state run and a 3-point lead for the home team. Richard for 3. Got it! Went spilling down on the floor after 2 triples for Will Richard tonight. Harris gives it up to Hubbard. Drew contact with Clayton.
Take a look at Richards here. He's going to go down, and then he's going to circle right back. And the defender gets lost, thinking that Richards is going to keep going all the way through. But Richard puts on the brakes, gets the rescreen, and is shot ready on that curl.
He was more ready than the people running the hotel you tried to stay at today, huh?
Anytime you check in and they hand you a letter that says, "Oh, did you not get our call?" What happened here?
Todd Golden and Pat Adams having a discussion. It was an emotional win for Todd Golden on Saturday. Knocked off his mentor, Bruce Pearl, and Stephen Pearl, who's one of Todd's best friends. I asked him if he got a little emotional in the handshake line. He said, "Man, BP means so much to me, and he always knows the right thing to say. So proud of what we had accomplished."
I was a little surprised, Tom, when Todd said he and Stephen haven't talked yet. He said, "Hey, I'm going to give him a little bit of time." Like, if you're best friends after the game, don't you say, "Hey, you're going to send me a Father's Day card, man," or something like that? Like if you're that tight, you got to kick your friend while he's down.
I'm so glad we're not friends. Thank you for not texting me Sunday night after my Chiefs loss. Clayton hesitation. Beautiful move, and he's going to the line.
We talked about the pace that Clayton plays with. He is, I can't help but keep describing it as smooth. Just this little hezzy, freezes Murphy there and just accelerates this little extra gear. Oh my gosh, that's how you look off the defense. That's as good of a hezzy as you'll see around college basketball in tonight's action.
Walter Clayton Jr. was born in Frostproof, Florida. You think people bought homes in Frostproof back in the day? He was a fantastic football player. He finally gave up football, and he called it a gamble on basketball. It's one that has certainly paid off.
I've been so impressed with him as a point guard. There was question marks. Would he be able to transition from 2 guard to point guard? He has done that and then some.
Hubbard left that one short despite great lift on his jump shot. Deep ball. No good. Here's Melendez leading the break. State with a chance to run. And a nice finish by Sean Jones Jr.
Well, the 2 mistakes Clayton's made in this game are those unpredictable long-range threes that his teammates haven't been ready for, and State has leaked out twice.
What a matchup tonight. 2-second difference between the shot and the game clock. Clayton with his spin. Got a half step on Jones. Melendez with the block. A heave from half court from Hubbard. They turned the lights off before it got there. Come on, man. 34-33, Mississippi State with the lead over a banged-up Florida team, fresh off a win against number 1. The Gators down 2 starters, but Walter Clayton Jr. carrying him as much as he can. Melendez, fine recovery. Opportunity for Hubbard. Pay the electric bills. We're going to quick trigger the entertainment folks here in the hump.
Hard played and using their bigs to come off the bounce in that short corner area as well.
So Thomas Houck will start the second half for Florida in Condon's place. And another start for Denzel Aberdeen tonight in place of the injured Elijah Martin. Here's Houck, extra pass for Aberdeen. Matthews was late to get there, and Denzel Aberdeen splashes down his second three.
Florida has some really good passing bigs. I mean, that was a terrific quick ball reversal by Houck.
Josh Hubbard is Mississippi State's leading scorer, 7th in the league at 17.5 per game, but he is 1 for 6 and 0 for 4 from deep. He's done most of his work from the free throw line, where he's made 5 in a row. Guarded 3 is off the mark. Houck, one-hand rip down. Well, his importance to this Florida team gets ratcheted up without Condon on the floor. Florida enters a stretch of winnable games after this one. No ranked teams to close out February. South Carolina, Oklahoma, at LSU, and at Georgia. And if they can survive that run on the schedule, similar to what Auburn did without Janai Broome, maybe they come out better for it on the back end.
Yeah, possibly. And obviously their top concern is with their big fella Condon. And it shows you the depth this team has. I mean, this is a, you know, even without Martin and Condon, you're looking at certainly a top 25 lineup right in front of them.
There was a foul on the Nwoko a moment ago, his second, and now the third on Cameron Matthews.
This will be a story in the second half, Tom. This is not a huge Mississippi State lineup, and Florida's had some success with a high-low and getting these deep post touches. Yes, they have good guard play, but I think that's one area they can exploit Mississippi State in the half court.
With the front line of Condon, Chinyelu, and Houck was fantastic in the win Saturday against Auburn. Here's Ruben Chinyelu. Used every bit of the rim for a 54% free throw shooter. Another one coming for Chinyelu, who led the NBA Academy in Africa to first place in the Academy games. He played for Nigeria in the World Cup and FIBA. Plenty of international experience.
Tom, we mentioned that bigger lineup for Florida, and Chris Jans recognized it. He makes a quick sub. Keyshawn Murphy for Cameron Matthews to give them more size on the interior to match up better with Florida. Rarely do you take out Cam Matthews.
Yeah, that's 6'10 versus 6'7. But eyes on Hubbard. Melendez left open. They're just not getting the shooting touch from Melendez that I think they expected. Started his career at Illinois. Played at Georgia last year. Deflected by Houck. Florida takeaway, 4-on-2. Beautiful feed. Houck threads the needle and Aberdeen cashes in.
The skill of Florida's bigs is just a little bit better than Mississippi State. You saw it there with the ball handling, the touch. Mississippi State's going to have to find a way to counter that with toughness and physicality. Certainly not Florida's weakness. I mean, look at this point center move. That's normally a turnover. When you got your big handling the ball all the way up the court, that's not a good thing. But Houck just patient with it, and Aberdeen with the quick explosiveness. I can't tell you how good Houck is playing. Again, that effort he had at Auburn was the difference in that game.
I can tell you, they were plus 19 with him on the floor against Auburn. So that's one way to measure it, and that's against the #1 team in the country in their building.
That double offensive rebound possession he had with a tap out for a big-time three that really was the dagger on what I feel like could certainly be viewed as the most impressive win in college basketball this season.
Florida led by 7, 4 minutes into this game. Now opening up another lead as Chinyelu has it fall off. It's a 5-point advantage. Hubbard trying to keep State in this. And went flailing, and the ball went off of his knee. And another empty possession for State. Back-to-back turnovers.
I like the aggressive drive here, and that's just really good hands by Clayton. He was beaten. Hubbard, you're thinking, I'm getting to the free throw line here. Good hands.
Clayton got a half step on Melendez. I remember talking to Todd Golden before the game at Tennessee in their Friday night practice. They run so well at home. Remember, they blew out Texas by running late. Clayton has to hurry it up. And we talked about the difference in college basketball, playing with tempo at home versus on the road. And he said it's not that we slow down on the road, it's just we play with so much more aggression on our home floor in front of our home fans. It's a huge advantage for them.
Well, they like crowd noise based on that Auburn.
Yeah, that could be it. He scored 90 at Auburn. Richard got it back from Clayton, drills it. And a look to the student section from Richard. Mississippi State uses a timeout. Largest lead of the game for the Gators.
Just love the chemistry on this Florida team. We've seen them sharing the ball early in this second half. And how about this? Just guard to guard, shot ready with a ton of confidence on the road. This Florida team is tough.
Fantastic this year, into the top 10 along with 3 others in the SEC. Here's Riley Kugel going baseline. And Houck with the takeaway. Mississippi State hasn't scored yet this half. Clayton Jr. got it. It's a 12-0 run to start the second half for Florida.
You just cannot allow Clayton Jr. to walk up into that 3 in transition. I believe the Mississippi State player fell getting back. This is a little bit of a danger zone. Mississippi State not really built to come from behind.
Stolen away. Deflection from Richard. Picked up by Houck. Richard for 3. I mentioned this earlier. Florida not only is 4th in the country in fast break points, but they don't give up fast break points. There's Houck.
This is a Florida team, too. Not only top 10 defensively, but top 10 offense in efficiency. And we're seeing that complementary basketball here in the second half. You could not start the second half better than what Todd Golden's team is doing right now.
5 for 8 from the floor, including 4 for 6 from 3. Hubbard trying to get State back into it. Ball tipped out by Houck. That's his specialty. Aberdeen on the run. All Gators this second half. I mean, all Gators. There have been 15 points scored since the intermission. Florida scored all 15.
I think you got to wonder, what's our lineup? They tried to go 2 bigs. I think that might have backfired a little bit with less ball handling and slower in transition. Now Cam Matthews back in the game, playing a little bit of point forward.
9th possession of the half for Mississippi State. Matthews shares it, and they get the run-in jam from Keyshawn Murphy. First 8 possessions, State turned it over 6 times. They only had 5 turnovers in the first half.
Well, if nothing else, Cam Matthews has a good plus-minus in the second half.
That's true. Here's Clayton Jr. 17 for Walter Clayton Jr.
You have to expect him to pull up. You cannot fall asleep and have a hand down. He has a quick trigger, and he doesn't sell it. He doesn't give it away. He's got his eyes on the rim. He's seeing the court, and then out of nowhere, he just lets it fly. He makes difficult plays look so easy.
He's second in school history. He had a stretch where he had 5 threes in 3 consecutive games. Started his college career at Iona. Here's Matthews working on Aberdeen with a size advantage. Shares it inside, and a little scoop shot from Keyshawn Murphy puts him into double figures. He's 61% from 2. Houck finds Chinyelu. May not be an assist in the scorebook, but that'd be a hockey assist for Houck.
And that's the challenge, right? Cam Matthews, you can run things through him on this end of the court, but on the other end, he is giving up some height.
Corner three skips off from R.J. Melendez. And a push ahead. Richard saves it. Chinyalu right down broad, but left it short. Now State on the run. Kugel this time.
Can't be any more open than that. It's just 2 of 19 from 3 from Mississippi State. And this is a Bulldog offense that is much improved from last year. Top 25 in Ken Palm's offense efficiency.
Clayton finds Houck, a step behind the line. Got it.
Wow.
You know, we were talking at half. The selection committee had Florida lost this game, and it certainly doesn't look like they will, but anything's possible. Could have excused this because of the loss of Alex Condon 30 seconds in. Hubbard answers with a 3. But their performance to this point, especially in the second half, is mind-blowing considering they're playing a top 25 opponent on the road, and they're doing it without 2 starters.
And some new lineups they've had to have. Of course, they have not subbed here, nor should they in the second half, but they have found a rhythm. And it seems like when Mississippi State gets a stop, it's just because Florida's missing open looks. I mean, here's an example of a wide open 3 here. You've got to get 2 guys on Clayton to take away that. But now with Houck shooting the ball the way he is, this is the most confidence we've ever seen him playing. And answering the challenge from Todd Golden that says, great effort at Auburn. Can you be consistent? And he has stepped up to the challenge with Condon out.
He's got 7 boards and 8 assists to go along with 11 points. Thomas Houck is on triple-double watch.
His usage rate has been through the roof, too. I mean, seems like they've involved him in every play, as they should.
Harassing defense forces a turnover, and then Richard gets a whistle on Hubbard in transition.
Just more continued ball pressure here, and Florida racing out. Good foul by Hubbard, but this is the story of the second half. Florida getting to loose balls, 3 guys getting down the court, Mississippi State trailing the play. And Chris Jans will tell you, hey, this might be a new Mississippi State offense on the season, but he does not want to lose that toughness and grit that has been the foundation of his program. And right now, you know he is not pleased with the effort defensively and the fight and the get back in transition.
You mentioned the poor shooting from Mississippi State, 3 for 20 from 3. And a whistle on the drive to put Keyshawn Murphy at the free throw line.
I like what they do there, Tom. Watch Hubbard. Hubbard's just going to get in the way. This is a little big screen. If they're going to deny him, that's a good opportunity to use your best player as a screener because his man is not going to help off. That's going to be one way they can chip away at this lead, get themselves to the free throw line where they have struggled on the year, but a chance to claw back.
And so Murphy's got another one. I like when you talk about little big screens. Reminds me of your favorite country group, Little Big Town. Little player, big player.
Did they do the halftime? I haven't heard.
You're not sure who played Super Bowl halftime? Yeah, it hadn't got enough attention.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Murphy has really picked it up over the last 7 games, more than 14 points a game, and much more efficient. Last half of conference play.
A bit of press here from Mississippi State.
Lobchar solves it across court. Kevin Hobby sends in the offensive call for Florida with the ball in Clayton's hands.
As good as Houck has been, he's on the bench. You got to come up with a stop here if you're Mississippi State.
Matthews took a spill. And the loose ball trickles between legs and ends up with Hubbard. That was a wicked googly to get to this point, and a turnover. It'll keep it this direction with State.
Florida has been elite offensively here in the second half. The way they have shared the ball, the dynamite passing, it doesn't matter if it's guards, bigs, they are sharing the ball and playing beautifully. That was a six-man off the bench that was rugged, could go in there and get a ton of rebounds, and now Hout is adding the three-point arsenal. And if you look back at that Florida team, before they won that first national championship in February, they were ranked 10th in the AP poll and on their way to a number 3 seed. So this Florida team is looking every bit of the part to potentially have a Final Four run themselves.
Murphy gets to the block. One-legged fadeaway, short.
And even if they lose a couple games, let's not forget that 05-06 team was swept by Tennessee that year and still went on to win the national championship.
Did you know anybody in the Tennessee team?
I got to get that in there. They got the rings. They got the last laugh.
Yeah. Well, you guys were walking through the stands at Thompson Bowling trying to get attention. What a huge swipe. Shot clock at 6. Richard with 2. Has it blocked by Melendez, and a state takeaway. They had a 3-on-2, and Pat Adams stopped the play.
Gotta let that play on. Chris Jan's upset. I mean, if it's a loose ball, you certainly want to give the benefit of the doubt to the defense and stop play.
Even my man in the glasses knows. He knows.
I just think this is a clear recovery by Matthews almost simultaneously, and usually they let that go on, especially when it's advantage the other way. Nevertheless, Mississippi State playing a little bit better on the defensive end now. See if they can follow it up with a score. Plenty of time left.
Kugel only 2 points going against his former team. Came in averaging double figures. Baseline drive right by Houck, and it fell off. Oh, that's how the night has gone for Mississippi State. The 3-on-2 break was stopped due to the whistle, and they have a layup. It's spit out at the cup.
Well, they're better from 2 than 3, but tonight they're not good at either. I mean, they're 3 for 20 from the three-point line and 8 of 14 from layups. And Chris Jans has put them in position to score, but it has not been falling. And, Hubbard has been pretty quiet. They got to find a way to get him going in a hurry.
I'll add one more to it. They have really good turnover rate numbers coming in, 15%. Tonight, State has turned it over in 24% of its possessions.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is not Mississippi State basketball.
Second on Wolf. Pardon me, third. It's been a surrender Cobra kind of night for the State faithful. Ruben Chinyelu at the free throw line. Another one coming. Big game tonight on ESPN. Number 2 Alabama goes on the road to take on Texas at the Moody Center. Carl Ravitch and Jimmy Dykes on the call. Alabama has just been playing unbeatable basketball lately. Chinyelu goes 1 for 2. Tide has won 6 straight. Now tied for first in the SEC at 9-1 with their rivals Auburn, with a 1 versus 2 matchup coming up this week.
Not totally surprising, right? Alabama was playing so well on offense despite not shooting the 3 very well, but now they're starting to get their stroke.
By the way, that will be the first in-state 1 versus 2 matchup since John Calipari and Bruce Pearl matched wits with Memphis and Tennessee, with a freshman Derrick Rose playing for Memphis on its way to the Final Four.
That was a Super Bowl-like atmosphere. And there's Hubbard. He's starting to get it going a little bit. That's 2 consecutive threes on the last 2 attempts for him.
That was such a big game that you were playing professionally in Holland, and you even heard about it in Dutchland.
That's right. Even though I was wearing my Holland Seals jersey that everybody was asking me for autographs, they couldn't help but ask me about the big game.
Justin Timberlake was courtside. Priscilla Presley was courtside. Klobuchar throws it in. That was as big time a matchup as ever. 1 versus 2, Tennessee and Memphis. We'll see Memphis Thursday night. See Penny's team taking on South Florida on ESPN2. A foul on the screen, I believe.
Essentially a whole new roster for Penny Hardaway. He's got Memphis playing terrific. Very good defensively when they take care of the basketball. they really become a complete team.
Second on Klobuchar. 19-point Florida lead. You said earlier that.
For you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
So when Tennessee beat Memphis in that 1-2, then they came back later in the week and lost to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, next game out.
Bruce Pearl made the joke. They've got ads about Cialis that last longer than our #1 ranking did.
Hey, that really sounds like a Steve Forbes joke, not a Bruce Pearl joke. I may be wrong.
I think they shared the same sense of humor.
Here's Aberdeen. And now Houck again. And a foul on the feed. And Claudell Harris commits his third. 8:25 to go in this one. That foul comes with 9 seconds on the shot clock. You mentioned this earlier. Mississippi State not really built for a 19-point comeback. We may be in Chiefs-Eagles territory at this point with 8:25 to go. But what needs to happen for Chris Jans' team have a fighting chance in the last 8?
Yeah. And the other part that makes it difficult is you're dealing with such a balanced Florida team that's so locked in defensively, but they got to find a way to create some turnovers, get easy baskets in transition. If you can get just 2 consecutive threes in a row, all of a sudden maybe you get a little bit of that home court advantage, get the crowd loud.
They're going to put the headset on and take a look at this one, and we'll have the under 8 media timeout with Florida up 19. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Auburn and Alabama primed to go head-to-head on Saturday afternoon on ESPN. 1 versus 2 and #1 in the league on the line. Ruben Chinyulu's at the free throw line. They upgraded that last foul to a hook and hold. Flagrant 1. And so Chinyulu all by himself at the free throw line.
Well, the clamp is the key. Yeah, and that is definitely a hook and hold. Easy call there. And that all goes back to the mismatches that Florida has found down low and just burying that mismatch.
Here's Houck on the interior. He's looking to turn in the first triple-double for Florida since Chris Chiozza did it against Missouri. What a run he's on. That was 2017 when Chiozza went for 12, 12, and 10.
Tom, you talked about the Bruce Pearl influence. He's going to go right here and wait for this lob and then cut right here, cut towards the basket. It's all designed to be a fake pass. Oh, I'm going to get it. No, I'm not. And then they empty out the backside.
And you saying Todd Golden got that from his time with Pearl at Auburn?
Yes, we used to call it wave the fist. If you still call it that, coach, sorry, man.
So just let everybody know.
Yeah. We did it a little bit differently with the 1-4 set across the bottom, but same arrangement by Todd Golden there.
Any other secrets you'd like to share? Do you want to give out Bruce Pearl's social security number or bank account routing?
It's a good week to share some inside plays, right? They don't have any big games coming up.
Murphy can't connect.
That's going to be awesome, man. 1 versus 2, in-state. Must-see TV for that. And, I think the key, too, of guarding Alabama's threes is first you got to stop them at the rim. And if you can guard Alabama in the first 8 seconds, that's when they're trying to score. Usually you can force a much tougher shot later in the shot clock and bring down those points per possession.
Harris Jr. foul trying to cut across the lane. Mississippi State has lost 19 straight to top 3 opponents. The last time they beat someone in the top 3 is 1996, Ray Allen's final game for UConn. Dante Jones and Eric Dampier on their run to the 96 Final Four under head coach Richard Williams, who's in the building tonight. Great to see Coach. As for home games for State, missed opportunities.
Yeah, they've actually been better on the road. Those are some close losses there where they had Kentucky, Alabama, but the disappointing one to Missouri. This one's shaping up to be the same.
Clayton gambled, and Murphy denied at the rim. Second chance good. Murphy over the last 8 games has poured in 14 a game. He's at that number tonight. Houck has 13 points, 7 boards, and 8 assists. Aberdeen for 3.
That's a little bit of the story for me, is watching, keeping on a triple-double watch on Houck.
Hubbard lost the dribble, able to recover. Push shot good from Keyshawn Murphy.
He does have a nice touch around the basket.
Florida with a dominating performance tonight, despite being without Elijah Martin with a hip pointer injury before the game, his second straight miss, and Alex Condon, who left the game 30 seconds in due to an ankle injury. He's been taken for x-rays. Will not return, and Houck banks it in.
When it's your night, it's your night.
Baseline drive and a reverse off a little spin from Claudell Harris Jr. He'll be at the free throw line.
Houck is going to get completely off balance here. Tries a spin move, unable to absorb the contact, really starts falling down. But crafty enough to get it right off the glass. You talk about what he is doing. 15, 7, and 8 on the road. And when you're coming off such an emotional win at Auburn, you tend to have a little bit of a letdown. But big-time teams and competitors can find a way to bring that same intensity when the crowd and the atmosphere might not be the same as it was at Auburn, but they have not let the opponent, the environment, or anything dictate their effort other than themselves.
Well, it's a little bit of a change and lesson learned from Florida. Harris goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. They lost to Missouri at home on January 14th, and Todd Golden said, I don't want to take anything away from Missouri. They shot the lights out, but I feel like our team had been busy reading its press clippings and just won on the road at Arkansas. The game before, they beat Tennessee by 30, then number 1 in the country. And he said, we kind of came into that game sleepwalking. Missouri's a really good team that we didn't respect off the jump. Hubbard splashes one down, and so they learned that lesson well by coming in here to Starkville and taking care of business.
Yeah, the Tennessee one really surprised me because I did not think that was a good matchup for Tennessee. The Missouri one, I do think if you're going to beat this Florida team, you've got to be able to have a plethora of bigs, and that's something Missouri has. And so as you start looking at some of the opponents that might be able to go toe-to-toe and on the interior, I mean, South Carolina played them really well. That's South Carolina's strength, is in the front court. But if you're going to have any chance against Florida, as tough as it is to guard their interior, you better be able to have some men down low.
Oh my goodness, Chinulu went down hard. The worse for the wear. He might need to ice that tomorrow. Melendez going to the line to try to finish it off.
Chinlu gets caught up in the air. It's clipped by Melendez, and that's about as graceful of a landing as you could ask for.
How about this? They gave the foul to Houck. And Todd Golden looking for an explanation. And I think they're going to ask each other, did we have the right guy for the foul? It'll be the 4th on Houck. And that's likely what Golden is asking about. He wants to spread these out a little bit. It would only be the 2nd on Chinulu.
We're going to make sure the foul is on the correct person.
Pat Adams will take a look at the monitor. Melendez standing at the free throw line. It's a Florida team that comes into tonight, according to Joe Lunardi, projected as a 2 seed. BPI is top 10. The net is number 5. 3rd team to beat 2 different AP number 1 teams in the regular season in college basketball history. Dominating performance against Tennessee, winning on the road against Auburn, handing the Tigers only their 2nd loss of the season.
And the knock on them, if you will, they were undefeated in non-conference play, and everybody wondered, okay, but you hadn't played as tough of a schedule as maybe some other.
The foul is on number 9 blue. 2-shot foul.
And so as they entered conference play, they had that loss at Kentucky, but I think that also showed the whole world these guys are for real, because they put up 100 on the road at Rupp and took a red-hot Mark Pope team to the wire. And Todd Golden talked about it after that last game. He said, look, that win at Auburn, it moves the needle in the standings. It moves the needle for us in the NCAA tournament picture, seed line-wise. And if you want a chance at that Final Four, certainly the inside track is to get one of those, a 1 or 2 seed. They are well on their way.
RJ Melendez completes a three-point play. And State shows a little 1-3-1. Three-quarter court. Klobuchar gives it up. So Houck only has 3 personals instead of 4. And that'll come in handy as his pursuit of a triple-double continues. A turnover. Klobuchar finds it. There have only been 4 triple-doubles in Florida history. Nick Kalathis has a pair. Corey Brewer turned one in. Chris Chioza was the last in 2017.
Tom, what a luxury it is to have a national championship 2 times. Torian Green on the coaching staff. When you think about the mentorship he can have with Clayton Jr. as this team prepares for March, and what it's like to play on the road and the poise you have to have. I think they have a lot of similarities in that regard, both with big-time range from deep, yet know how to get their teammates involved and know what it takes to win big-time games in March.
Hubbard's got 19. Aberdeen answered with 2. Denzel Aberdeen having a breakout offensive performance tonight. He's got 18.
You know, Tom, even then, though, I mean, you cut it to 14, you start thinking, okay, maybe a chance that Mississippi State just has not been able to follow up a score with a stop and get any sort of run here in the second half.
Houck for 3. He shot that with confidence, didn't he?
Yep.
Hubbard looking for an assist, and Murphy comes crashing down. He's got 18 points. State has scored 12 the last 14 to make it a 14-point game. Florida at one point led by 24. Houck. Foul. And that'll be on Cameron Matthews. Should knit a raincoat. Thomas Houck at the free throw line. Mentioned his triple-double watch, sitting at 7 boards and 8 assists, double figures in points. That Chioza triple-double is the last in Florida history. It's also the most recent for a guy coming off the bench. In fact, he's the only SEC player since 96-97, and there's a rebound to record a triple-double in a game in which he did not start. Taken away by Melendez. Todd Golden is like, he just got thrown down. Houck with the block. And he is everything for Florida. Hubbard. He gets such great lift on his three-point shot. Got a 42-inch vertical. Clayton finishes on the other end. He's got 19. We're talking with Todd Golden at shoot-around today. Todd was an assistant at Auburn with Stephon Moody, who was in the league with Ole Miss. That was a guy who had great lift on his jump shot. So even if you're 5'11", you can get some clearance. But it's so hard to be consistent shooting when you do that, isn't it?
It is. And Hubbard has such a quick release but it almost has to be rushed more often than he would like, where he's shot faking, trying to get to his open spot. And because you have a height advantage, typically when you're guarding him, you can usually contest the shot without leaving your feet. So it's stay down on ball fakes, be the second guy off the ground if you're defending him.
Did you see Victor Wembanyama's block the other night? He blocked it without leaving his feet. It's just like a dad does to his son in the driveway. Here's Aberdeen. Denzel Aberdeen's got 20 points. It matches his career high. He only averages 7.5. This Florida bench has risen to the occasion the last couple of games, and again tonight with Aberdeen and Houck finding key roles for this Gators squad that is going to go to 21-3 overall and 8-3 in the SEC.
And Tom, this was a good game in the first half. This was close. In the second half, well, it was a 17-0 run to start. This game got away from Mississippi State so quickly. And a lot of it was due to Florida's transition. They had 0 transition points in the first half, and they had 10 of them in the first 5 minutes.
Houck inside. Clayton. Rubbin's racing, huh? Kugel with his second field goal of the game for the former Gator.
Well, and Mississippi State's going to have to either find their shooting touch or defend the three better. In conference play, again, they're 15th in the league at defending the three. Tonight, Florida is 40% from deep. It can be one or the other, but it can't be both. And so this is not the best version of Mississippi State, and Chris Jans will have them ready to bounce back.
Oh no, now an injury on R.J. Melendez out near midcourt, clutching his left leg and knee. Doesn't get much easier for State. They go on the road to Oxford to face a top 20 Miss team in a rivalry game. Hopefully they just bang knees.
Yeah, took a knee there. It's a good call, illegal screen.
But if you're Mississippi State, you're like, okay, let's try to figure things out and get right. You have to go to Oxford, then you host Texas A&M, ranked Oklahoma on the road, ranked Alabama on the road. There are no opportunities to catch your breath in this league.
I will say, while some fans might look at this game and say, how can we be ready for a road game at Oxford? As a player, that's exactly what you want after a bad game, is a rivalry on the road, us against the world. I think it helps bring everyone together and get this game behind them so quickly and have you refocused.
It was a thriller when they met earlier this season back on January 18th, a 3-point overtime win for Mississippi State.
Melendez with that huge block. Otherwise, that might have been an Ole Miss victory.
But think about what could have been on the Florida side of things. Alex Condon goes down 30 seconds into the game. They took him away for x-rays on an ankle injury. We'll wait and see what his diagnosis is. Elijah Martin unavailable for the second consecutive game. And all the Gators do is they come out and outscore State by 17 in the second half, and they'll hand Mississippi State its first loss of the season after the Bulldogs led at the half.
You know, Tom, and they really stayed with their 5 players they thought were the best fit. Sam Alexis only played 2 minutes in the second half. And it was pretty much just Clayton, Richard, Chinaloo, Aberdeen, and Houck.